Hey guys, welcome back to Automotive Chaos. I'm Ryan. We're back at Steve's house today. You guys might remember this K10 from 2-3 months ago, but we road tripped out to Jersey, picked this truck up. In the first video, we got this running, took it on a little joyride, and now it's time to clean it up a little bit. So you might notice we have new tires, beauty rings, center caps. We did wash the truck as well, but then it sat for 2 months, so it's covered in moss and dirt again. But today's focus is going to be on making a new exhaust for this truck. The first time we drove it, we threw 2 Cherry Bomb mufflers on there haphazardly, just to quiet it down a little bit while we took it for a ride. Doesn't really sound the best. So we bought a universal exhaust kit, some mufflers, some hangers, and that's going to be the project today. Get this truck sounding a little bit better. And you can't see it now where the camera is, but the inside is full of new interior parts. This truck's going to get a brand new interior, top to bottom. Carpet, seat cover, seat foam, dash pad, door panels, the works. Should be a nice little truck when it's done. So with that being said, let's get started. All right, so this is what we came up with last time. And it's pretty much just 2 header mufflers stuck off the end. And then to clear the axle from the transfer case, it was just a piece of flex pipe that is resting on the cross member and a bunch of other things. So this all has to get removed. Put some actual mufflers on here, and hopefully it should sound a little better. All right, here's what we're going to use for our exhaust. This is the finest stainless off of Amazon that money can buy. And then we have some authentic Flowmonster mufflers. I actually used these on that yellow 57 I did about a year ago, and they sounded pretty good. So hopefully they'll do the same thing for this truck. I know I had you guys under the truck to show you the old exhaust, but now that we pulled it out, I figured it'd give you just a better indication of what we threw on there last time, just to quiet this thing down. So on the driver's side, it was just a header muffler, and then on the passenger side, we used that piece of flex pipe, used of course, to kind of squeak that thing past the cross member and the drive shaft. And we didn't have any exhaust clamps when we did it, so we used an old exhaust hanger and some self-tappers. So this thing was plagued with exhaust leaks, didn't sound very good, and was still pretty loud. But now that we have that cleaned up, we're going to get underneath the truck and start fitting up and welding our new exhaust. And before we do that, we have to fix this fuel leak that came out of nowhere. So Steve hopped under there a minute ago and pulled out the rubber fuel line that was split. He's got a new piece in there, some fresh clamps. I think there might be one more because I just saw a drip in the back there. But almost ready to start putting our new exhaust on. I'm going to keep this guy away from the self-tappers this time.
I'm really happy about what's going on. My armpit still burns, and we have another fuel leak to fix.
Good times. So if you guys are on a budget like us, you know that every part's expensive, and header collectors are no exception. So obviously one of these was cut off the header muffler that we had, and I'm just kind of dressing the flange a little bit, cleaning it up, and we'll use this, we'll bolt it back onto the headers, and we'll build our exhaust off of this.
When you're done messing around with that, here you go, just put that on there.
Are you serious? Okay, so we've got some of the new exhaust set up underneath the truck. I have the collector bolted to the header. So we have a decent amount of exhaust run. I'm actually supporting the muffler with the jack right now. And the area that we're gonna have to focus on is right up here by the collector. So these collectors aim the exhaust down, and it would hang too low if we just welded it up like that. So I'm going to cut a small piece of a U-bend that we have just to kind of angle that up and keep it straight. And hopefully that will tuck the exhaust up nicely inside the truck. So I'm going to grab that piece of pipe, we'll mark that. It's probably going to be a couple times of underneath back and forth in the truck to make sure that we have the angle right. But like I said, you can see it back there, it's kind of tucked up nicely, and we don't want it hanging down too low. All right, so here's what we came up with. Just make a little bit of an S-pipe by cutting a U-bend, and I have it clamped in place. It works well underneath the truck. I ran the straight piece back to make sure that we have room around everything. So I'm gonna throw a couple tacks on this, pull the clamp off, clean around the entire flange, weld that up, and then I can weld that up as well. All right, so while I was under the truck, I bolted the exhaust so far up to the header, and then I placed the muffler on there, made sure that it didn't hang too low, wasn't going to hit anything. And then just made a couple of marks on the inlet of the muffler that correspond to some marks that I put on the exhaust. So we'll line those marks up, weld it up. Almost done. So got my side pretty much done. I just have to finish welding up the muffler, waiting for the welder because this guy's a little slow. It's like he had a bunch of extra bends and cuts to make on his side. All right, here's what we've got. Got that little kick up, clears the cross member, tucks it up nice, out of the way of everything. The muffler in the back. And although I'm not a huge fan of them, one of those rubber flexible hangers. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but it gets the job done and it'll stop this thing from dragging on the ground. Steve's almost done with his side, I think. He's building like a Hubble telescope over there.
I'm not putting any of this in. Going somewhere else.
All right, so as you can probably hear behind me, the exhaust is finally done on this truck. And I have to say, I think it sounds a lot better than it did with those header mufflers that we had on. So we can cross one more thing off the list for this truck. I think next up is going to be interior. We have to get the grill back in. And obviously give it another wash, because sitting in Steve's yard in the back just seems to attract the moss. But one more thing done on this project truck. Pretty happy with the way it sounds. And I think all in we had less than $100 all in between the pipes and the mufflers. All right guys, so that is going to do it for this video. There will be more on this truck. Might take us a little while to actually work on it again. Between my schedule and Steve's schedule, we have a lot going on, so it is a little difficult to get a full weekend together and devote to working on this truck. But that'll do it for now. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon.